we're going to head to Radio Row. Tommy Tran is holding down the fort there. We are so excited because he is joined by a very, very special guest. That would be Tua Tagovailoa sitting there, and he's going to be with us for a while, Tommy.
Amanda, how's it going? Yeah, we miss you out here at Radio Row. And yes, for the next 30 minutes, we have Tua Tagovailoa here in our HQ set. Brought to you by, of course, the Geico 15. B-Mac, our two-time Super Bowl champ, senior NFL writer Pete Prisco, and, of course, the man himself. We got TT and TT out here on the set right now. You look good. Saw you walking around. Things are going well. People are kind of interested in how you're doing, how you feeling, and how are things going?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Up to this point, we're on track to make a full recovery, But I think the thing we got to kind of wait on is the 3-month mark. That's when my doctor kind of gave me the timetable as to when the fracture is going to heal around the hip and whatnot. And so not this upcoming Monday, but the following Monday, we go in for our CT scan and then a follow-up with the MRI. And then from there, the doctors either give us the okay to go out, and gradually work into, doing a pro day or things of that nature. If not, then, these are the things we got to kind of still stay away from. Like, let's focus more on this. So,
Tua, I hear a lot of we. There's a lot of plan, obviously, a team effort for your recovery right now. How do you best describe, what people don't see of what you're going through right now, the people that are helping you?
Yeah, well, it definitely isn't just me. It's everyone that I'm surrounded with. I'm still doing rehab with the guys in Alabama. The team out there, Jeff Allen, and then his athletic training staff. And then, even in Birmingham, at St. Andrew's Hospital. So, those guys communicate with one another. If I do one thing in Birmingham, they communicate, with the guys in Tuscaloosa. This is things we could add on. These are things you need to lay off of. So the communication with them, they've helped me, with this rehab process. And, I can say that's why I look pretty normal when I walked in here. So
yeah, no question. And you look real good. But with the rehab process, what are you doing to get better? Granted, we know you can't really run around and display your mobility. But what about your arm? Are you able to throw the football? Are you able to still study and watch tape and things like that?
Yeah, so I'm still able to do board work and things of that nature. And then to answer your question with rehab, we're not just rehabbing my hip, but we're doing ball tosses, doing arm care, stretching my arm out. Things of that nature to where it doesn't stress the hip out, so, yeah.
When the injury happened, did you know right away it was something really severe and could be season-ending?
I didn't. I don't think I could say I did because at the time my body was in shock. And so when I had time to really process everything and really think about it, I was heartbroken. I was in the hospital bed in Birmingham. I was heartbroken. I wasn't going to be able to finish the season with, my teammates. It's just probably the last thing that you ever think of. You wake up, you think everything's going to be fine, and now something devastating like that happens. People take walking for granted for all I can say. Little things is walking, just being able to shower the same way, being able to use the bathroom. I'm grateful to have the parents that I have to have helped me, throughout my recovery process. And it was a tough one.
Let's talk about football. Watching you, we all watch you throughout your collegiate career, big-time fans of what you were able to do in Alabama as well. What do you do well, and what are some things you need to improve on?
I can tell you things I probably need to improve on more than the things I can do well. I'd say footwork. I'd say my read still more so after, not predetermining where I'm going to go with the ball. Mm-hmm. But, when the play is going, they show one thing, go into another, kind of deciphering, okay, now where am I going to go with the ball in that sense. But, college is totally different from the NFL,
yes,
and so, I can say I want to work on this, but, I think what's going to be best for me is, when I get into, when I get settled with my team, just getting into the film room, asking questions, kind of sitting down with the veteran guys who were there before, kind of learning under them and, just kind of getting a good kind of spectrum of how things work, within the NFL, and in terms of defense coverages. I mean, disguises. Because I know in the NFL they don't run too much zone now.
No.
It's a lot of man. They're blitzing you from all over. So
Especially young quarterbacks, you want to be able to disguise and play.
Yeah.
Talking about team real quick, we're all here in Miami. Right, of course, the elephant in the room is about
6
the
minutes
Miami
in,
Dolphins.
be back.
I mean, they had Tank for Tua.
Did you know about tanking for Tua?
I did from my teammates.
Yeah, I mean, I think they started that in July, right? Trying to tank.
Even before that.
Even before then. So we're here in Miami. I'm a South Florida guy, and Pete is.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if this is your first time here in Miami, but what do you think about the city of Miami and potentially knowing there's a possibility you could play for the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah, well, the place we're staying at, it's a little touristy for me.
Yeah.
But if I did, have the opportunity to come here, I mean, I think it'd be awesome. I'd have to talk to some of the players, to see where they're living, and then kind of get a good grasp from there. But it's similar to where I'm from, Hawaii. The weather. I mean, you got the beach right there. So I mean, I wouldn't mind coming here at all.
Which beaches are better?
Oh, you can't compare.
There he goes.
Out here. It's different. It's different.
Hawaii.
The islands are like, the islands are just different, I feel.
One thing I'll tell you, because I'm a West Coast guy, Tua, you got to adjust to the sun setting away from the water. It's just something that I had never factored in until I got here, moved here 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Look, obviously we're having our guy Ryan Wilson's mock draft right now. You are slated to be a Dolphins guy at number 5, so we'll wait and see. Obviously those cards will take care of itself down the road, but obviously now you've transitioned. This is a life transition for you to go from playing college ball, premier powerhouse program in Tuscaloosa, to potentially NFL, whether it's Miami or somewhere else. How much thought have you given to that outside of what you're working on physically to mentally get ready for the NFL?
Well, for me, my biggest thing is worrying about what's at task, at the very moment. So with this interview, this is what I'm worried about, for now. And then with whatever I got to do, that's what I'm going to worry about next. I try not to think too far ahead. I think that's what kind of confused, like when I start to get confused, and that's what messes, I guess, me up within my rhythm, or I don't know, whatever anything I decide to do is. So I'm just kind of in the moment kind of person, and go about doing things that way.
You seem like a real positive person. Do you expect to be ready to play in September?
Yeah, well, according to my doctors too, I'm expected to make a full recovery. So yeah, there's no doubt.
Would you like to have a pro day? Because, a lot of guys like to have pro days and they can show off what they have and your back and everything. Was that something you really would like to have? And be?
I'd like to have a pro day. Yes, sir.
Would you get your Alabama receivers to throw to there?
I would probably have Jerry Jeudy to throw to.
Yeah, me too. I pick them too.
All of them.
Yeah, every one of them.
The ones that are draftable. Yeah, and talking about this offense that you're a part of this year and then last year, I mean, I never seen 4 wide receivers. And I call them the 4 horsemen, you know what I mean, that can dominate and take over a ball game at any given time. And just talk about the relationship you had with those guys and being able to know what they do well and how to put them in positions to be successful.
Yeah, well, I can't relate to this, but this is the kind of analogy I could give you. It's like having kids, I mean, they grow up and they all have different things that they're good at. They all have different things they like, things that they don't like. And it's just kind of being personable with them, I mean, we've had about 3 years together, I've had 3 years together with all of them, with Jerry, Henry, and then, Smitty, who's back at Alabama.
Yeah.
But, just being able to kind of grow up in a sense, like we're all second group guys, our freshman year, then we come to be first group guys, our sophomore year, and I mean it was only easy, for the transition to have happened in our junior year. I mean we spent a lot of time together, all of us, and I mean Jerry's probably the best route runner we got. Smitty's probably the more aggressive, like he's gonna go up there and get it, probably best hands guy, and then Ruggs is probably the fastest guy. Like,
I heard Ruggs can go. How fast is Henry Ruggs?
I think when he ran his hand time 40 for scouts back around February or March last year. Some guys clocked him at a 4.1. Some guys clocked him at a 4.21. So, yeah.
Ooh.
So, yeah, that's how fast.
Never overthrew him, did you?
Oh, I overthrew him, but that was probably when he was just passing the 20, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, if he was to pass the 30, there's probably not.
Yeah. How much pressure was it, for you? Let's say you go to the line of scrimmage, it's a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10. You see single high safety, so they're telling you they're in a man-to-man coverage. And you got Ruggs, you got Judy, you got Smith all out there with a one-on-one opportunity. How do you determine who you're going to with the football, knowing that each guy can win their one-on-one matchup?
Yeah.
How do you determine, okay, I'm taking Judy here, I'm taking Smith here, I'm taking Ruggs here?
Yeah.
Or even Waddle.
Yeah. Well, it's really dependent on what play we're given.
Okay. So
if we're given a play where, it's compelling for Jerry to be open, okay, I'm going to work this one-on-one matchup. If it's where Ruggs is going to be open, I'll work that one-on-one matchup. But when if it looks kind of even, wherever I decide to go, they're fine with it. Unless, it's incomplete and they were wide open, then, that's when you come to the sideline and that's when the arguing starts.
What's it like playing quarterback for Nick Saban?
Yeah, it's different, I'd say it's different. It was different for me in a sense, because I wasn't used to going under center. I wasn't used to doing all these play action plays, but I think it was also different for Coach Saban as well, to have the kind of offense that we've had the past 2 years. We look at, his resume prior to those past 2 years we had. He's run the ball, play action, take a shot, go back to running the ball. So it was like smash mouth football, old school football. But it's been unique playing for him. That's what I can say. People look at Coach Saban as someone who's very strict, on us. But when you get to know him, he's very personable.
And to follow up on that, and B-Mac, you can chime in too in terms of, Coach Nick Saban and changing his style. Your coordinators have NFL experience, whether it's Brian Dable now in the NFL. Obviously, Steve Sarkisian's got the NFL experience now over in Tuscaloosa. How much of that was NFL concepts and the guys just kind of maybe getting you ready while you're in college for the next step? Yeah.
Well, I think everything was based on what they've done in the NFL. They implemented the RPO game a little more. That's not too much of what they've done in the NFL, but Coach Saban said this would be, pretty good for us. And we implemented it. That was probably one of our biggest, one of the greatest things we've done, as an offense, was the RPO game. But as far as, pure progression reads, 1 through 4, 1 through 5, everything was in there, and they would show us, film from the NFL, games that they'd use or, that we got to watch and kind of implement into our playbook too. So,
Tua, let's go back to your freshman year, right? National championship ball game against UGA in Atlanta. Offense struggling a little bit with Jalen Hurts at the quarterback position, and then in comes this true freshman, and instantly we saw a different offensive identity. So for me as a player, when I played on the collegiate level before I became a starter, the one thing I hated was getting in the ball game, not being in rhythm. You play the quarterback position where rhythm is imperative.
Yeah.
But when you jumped into the lineup, it was like, here I go. Take me through that. And at that moment, did you know you could dominate college football?
I didn't know I could dominate college football. But what I did know was if I got my opportunity, I was going to make the best of it because that's what my parents wanted to see. And I knew that would make my parents happy. And to me, just making my parents happy was the biggest thing. So if I went out there, I knew I was a representation of my family. I was a representation of my last name. And so I wanted to do good by them. I wanted them to be proud of what, I was doing. So my mindset wasn't to just go out there and play really good and try to win the game. But my mindset was to go out there and make them proud. So that was my whole mindset throughout.
How does that play out, though? You're in the locker room, right? And then does Nick come over to you and say, okay, you're in and Jalen's out?
Yeah, so he kind of put us together, the quarterback guys, and he said, Tua, You're going to start the second half, you know, and then we'll see how things go, and then we'll rotate you guys in. So that's...
When you got in, you got hot. That was it. That was it.
So correct me if I'm wrong, though. So the game before, you guys had Clemson in the Sugar Bowl, and Jalen was a little bit under the weather, so you got a little bit of first-team reps. So that must have helped out a little bit. I mean, it wasn't right away, but those are hard to come by, those first-team reps, and then you were ready down against Georgia later on, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was good that I had that opportunity, especially with our defense. I felt like our defense was really good that year. They had guys like Rashawn Evans. They had Minka Fitzpatrick, Deron Payne, you know, Anthony Averett. So they had all these guys, you know, that I got to, you know, compete against as a freshman. And I think, you know, it helped set me up, you know, to be in a good position to where if I did go in the game, I'd know what to expect and I'd know how to kind of go about doing things that way.
The game-winning touchdown pass. Now, for me, from my angle, they look like they were in cover two. The unique thing I like about what you did, a lot of people didn't really talk about, looking the safety off and instantly hitting the whole shot. Was that something you guys practiced throughout the week of, or just your quarterback psyche told you, knowing what you saw from the secondary standpoint, being able to hit Smith in stride? Take us through that play.
Yeah.
What was the call?
Oh, it was 3-by-1. It was train right off.
Train right off.
Yeah, it's train right off. And I mean, we ran Seattle. That's what it's called, Seattle.
Is that all verts?
Four verticals with a burst route by the running back.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and you know, prior to that play, you know, that safety, every time I came off to the sideline, you know, the guys would tell me that, you know, you got to be careful with your eyes because the safety is following you everywhere you go. And so when they ended up calling Seattle, I was like, okay, this is the best opportunity for me to just, you know, manipulate him with my eyes. So I did it. I didn't even see him. I just held it, you know, for as long as I can, looking at Irv coming over. I kind of looked at him for a glimpse and then
backside
laid it out there.
All right.
Throw.
We got to take a quick break, but when we come back, much more with Tua Tagovailoa. We're going to ask him who he thinks maybe the next Alabama quarterback should be. Give you a little bit of time to think about that and more stuff in the NFL as well when we come back here at Radio Row, live at CBS Sports HQ. Let's go. Tua Tagovailoa. Had a chance to do any Cuban coffee or any Cuban food yet, Tua?
None at all.
You got it before you head out.
I got here.
You might need to get used to that. I'm just saying. Coffee, but Cuban sandwiches.
If you're sleepy, drink a Cuban coffee, you'll be wide awake.
Oh, yeah,
really?
Wide awake.
Right awake.
Yeah, don't take it too late in the afternoon. For sure, it'll get you up. As we continue this conversation about Alabama, obviously, you had a lot of success there. Now you're moving on and getting ready to the NFL. When you look at the 2020 Crimson Tide, there's going to be a question mark at quarterback. They got a young kid in Bryce Young coming. They got your brother, Cleo, as well. What do you think some of the things will be like spring ball and fall camp, knowing what you know and that program so well?
Yeah, well, I think all of them across the board, you know, they're going to have to compete. You know, that's probably
and
the
Mac
biggest
played
thing
well,
I can
too.
say.
Yeah,
there's no doubt. But I don't know, nothing's given at that university. You know, you got to earn everything, and all of them are going to have to compete, you know. So regardless if I was a quarterback, I mean, my brother's still going to have to compete, you know, regardless, you know, with what Mac had done this past, you know, ending for us, you know, during the season. I mean, he's going to have to compete as well. So
Would you have won the national championship if you were healthy?
would I? I mean, a lot of what ifs. I'm not too sure.
When you burst on the scene with the Georgia game, there's a lot of talk about being a freshman. Last year was like the year of the true freshman. We're starting to see a lot more of that. Early enrollees, you got kids coming in with spring ball. When you look at it, and I know you had to very focus on what you were doing, if you see college football, seeing a lot of freshman quarterbacks out there, what comes to mind for you?
Well, I mean, I just think it's competition, you know. If a true freshman comes in and he's better than the senior, I mean, that's competition, you know. I mean, in this day and age, everyone is bigger, faster, stronger. I mean, the coaches are better, you know. I mean, just everything has just changed over time, you know. And so, I don't know. Yeah, made the best man win.
Yeah. What was the biggest adjustment for you at Alabama?
Knowing that everything that, you know, at restaurants, everything's fried. That's probably the biggest thing, you know. They got fried pickles. I've never heard of that before. Fried catfish.
Fried catfish is on point.
But I've never, I've never known anything like that. So it was new to me.
Do you like some of the fried food now better than you did as a freshman?
I mean, I'd eat the fried pickles, no doubt, but I don't know.
What about Dreamland Barbecue? It's a famous
Dreamland Barbecue is good.
Yeah.
But too much of that fried food, man. Ooh.
No. Yeah, you can't have that. You cannot have that.
Gets you up there.
How tough was it? You sound like you're a competitor no matter what you do. Like if you shoot baskets with your brother, you want to beat him or whatever. How tough was it for you to sit there on the sidelines and watch this season?
Yeah, it was tough. Because you work so hard with your teammates. You go through off-season training, all those sprints together. You guys struggle together, and then you look back and you just think, you can't help your team. I don't know. It's kind of being in a vulnerable state, where all you can do is just be supportive. Be on the sideline, cheer them on, and just. I don't know. Tell them what you see, your perspective from the sidelines. So.
Of course, the Heisman winner this season was Joe Burrow. You had an opportunity to play against Joe. Now, granted, you wasn't healthy. You know what I mean? You wasn't healthy. I picked you guys to win that ball game, but, of course, your health had a lot to say in not winning it, in my opinion. But speak about what you saw from Joe Burrow, especially in 2018. Pretty good player, but he just evolved to be an outstanding player in 2019. Let's talk about what you saw from him as a passer.
Yeah, well, I have the utmost respect for a guy like Joe Burrow. When I got hurt, he was one of the first guys as well to send me a text message, after their game and whatnot. So, I have the utmost respect for him. I think the biggest thing with the year we played them, at LSU and then this year, I think it might have been the structure that he was in. You look at it, he wasn't really given that opportunity to really drop back, make reads, and, throw the ball. He was more so handoff. They ran some RPOs here and there last year. But it just didn't look like a offensive fit that was for him, and then you see him come into, an offense like this past year, dominated. Yeah. Dominated. And, I had fun competing against them. I wish we could have competed again, but.
Yeah. With you being healthy, right?
It would have been good.
No question. Going to start wrapping this thing up, but I do want to ask you, been around some collegiate quarterbacks and those in the pros that their faith is really big with them. And you seem like everything kind of circled back to your health and you're working back towards your progress. When it kind of comes to football, family, and faith, how do you sort of rank that and how much of that is a big deal for you, too?
Yes, I'm not more so of a, God first, family second. I'm more so of, Jesus in the middle and everything else just revolves around him. Family revolves around him. Everything is implemented through my faith, so whatever I go through with my family, whatever I go through with my friends, I always lean back on, I can pray about this, and the people that I surround myself with, as far as my friends, they have strong faith-based, backgrounds and whatnot, so they help to keep me accountable as well, so throughout all of that, that's how I kind of let everything go.
I know family is very, very important for you. Whatever team drafts you, whatever city you move to, will your family be there right with you?
I don't think so. As close as we are as a family, I still have my brother in Alabama. I still have my two sisters. And my parents, they've raised us up, to let us go, And so it's like an eagle, They let their babies fly off, go off the mountain and fly. And if they can't fly, they go swoop them, bring them back up into the nest, and they continue to train them until it's time for them to go. And they learn how to fly on their own. So I think that's what my parents are going to let me do.
You ready to fly? You ready to fly?
I'd like to hope so.
All right. Tua, we certainly appreciate it, man. Hey, thank you for the time here, sitting here. Enjoy the rest of Super Bowl week. I know you're getting out there. One more thing we tell you about Geico 15. Obviously, you have the Geico 15. Save 15%, just 15 minutes or more can save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save. Enjoy the rest of your trip, Tua. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.